Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents my thoughts on Black Adam, the latest of the DCEU. It is dropping in theaters this weekend. I have seen it and wanted to share a few thoughts on it. But before I do so, caution, spoilers ahead. I'm going to be giving some stuff away, so if you don't want to know anything, stop here, come back later to see if you agree or disagree with what I thought about the film. That being said, Black Adam. Black Adam, played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who was literally built to play this role. Those are not pads. That is all Dwayne Johnson in that suit. Black Adam was a hero 5,000 years ago who was given the powers of Shazam by the Wizards, the same powers given to Billy Batson in the film Shazam, of course. He used those powers to battle an evil king who was forcing his subjects to mine Eternium, a mystical element that he wanted to use to make a crown in order to bestow upon himself the powers of Sabak. Sabak is a demonic entity, and the crown would basically create an anti-Shazam or an anti-Black Adam, as it were. But 5,000 years ago, Black Adam defeated the king before he was able to use the crown. But in the fight and the conflagration that occurred at that time, Black Adam and the crown were lost under a mountain for all those millennia until Adriana Tamaz, played by Sarah Shahi, uncovered and released Black Adam, and of course, once more putting the crown into play. Bodhi Sabangi, playing her son, is the ultimate Black Adam fanboy, even trying to help Black Adam become a superhero and a protector of their country. However, Black Adam doesn't exactly play by the rules. He has his own set of rules, and that includes killing the bad guys and making as big a mess as he can, which catches the attention of the Justice Society. Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher appear to try to, contain Black Adam. But Black Adam doesn't want to be contained, so of course that is quite the conflict between him and the Justice Society. And in the meantime, the bad guys are trying to get the crown so that their leader can unleash the power of Sabak and become the evil demon I just showed you a few moments ago. Well, that's the film, basically, the plot line. I will say that the film isn't terrible. It's not bad. It's just not very good either, sadly. I will say I think the cast did the best job they could with the material they had. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is always uh, a great leading man. He has excellent chemistry with anybody he's on screen with. He has a certain charm that serves him quite well in this role and any role that he does, actually. And he has some pretty decent comedic timing, which he also uses in this role, but not quite as effectively in other things he has done. And I'll get to the reason why in a moment. Uh, as I said, Sarah Shahi, a lovely actress, of course, did uh, a good job in her role, as did Bodhi Sabangi her son, although he kind of played the fanboy thing a bit over the top a couple of times. Maybe could have pulled that back a little bit, but overall, likable kid. Nothing really negative to say about the actor in the role. As with the Justice Society, Pierce Brosnan just has this grace, and he is just class. And I liked how he played Dr. Fate. Uh, Pierce Brosnan just has a look that he's been around a long time. I know what's happened. I know what's going to happen, and quite literally, he does know what's going to happen because of the power of the helmet that he has, the Doctor Fate's helmet. Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Hawkman has always been a very special superhero to me. One of my favorites growing up. I was a little concerned about the race swap. Carter Hall had always been a white guy every incarnation I'd ever seen, but nothing I could do about that. If it bothers you, nothing I can do. But Aldous Hodge, I think, did a really good job with the role. He has an aura of leadership that I think served Hawkman well in this film, because he was the leader of this group, kind of along with Doctor Fate. He Doctor Fate's experience played a great role in the decision making, but the ultimate leader was Hawkman. I think Aldous Hodge's persona fit that quite well. I think maybe he was a little too aggressive uh, towards Black Adam in the film. He was a little too quick to want to swing that mace. When I think talking would have served him better, I was actually surprised it took them so long to actually try to talk him down rather than start swinging with Black Adam. But that's something else. Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone and Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher were okay. They really weren't given that much to do. I would actually like to see more of Cyclone. I think her character had some very interesting elements there that they did not develop too well. I would like to have know a little more about her character. Uh, Adam Smasher, Noah Centineo, he was the rookie of the group, and they really played that up a bit. I think too much. They made him kind of a fool. I don't think Hawkman would have had a fool on his team, and kind of, I just I think they played that for humor a bit too much. One thing I did like about the Atom Smasher uh, with him was they did set the precedent that there was an Atom Smasher before this one, his uncle, and they had a cameo from Henry Winkler playing the original Atom Smasher. The Fonz made a cameo, and I really appreciated that. I liked that a lot. Of course, Black Adam and Hawkman. I think their relationship in the film was kind of the key relationship. They really were batting heads, those alpha males. Let's take them out and measure them, boys. That's they were always coming to blows, and I'm just glad. Ooh, that sounded weird, but I am glad that they didn't make Hawkman a weak version of the character. They made him very badass. He was able to hold his own with Black Adam. I appreciated that. They didn't just make Black Adam just demolish him. Now, of course, we know he could if he wanted to, and ultimately would win, but they gave Hawkman a lot of dignity to show that he indeed was worthy opponent for Black Adam, even though he didn't need to be an opponent if he'd actually tried to talk to the man in the first place. And I think that's part of some of my issues with the film. I had an issue with with a lot of the writing actually. Like I said, the Justice Society comes in there, don't even really bother to start talking. They kind of just start swinging. The story just seems to be a piecemeal of other superhero stories and origin stories that we've seen and heard before. Uh, the like I said, the actors do the best with what they've got. It's not always the best, but like I said, they can only do what they're given. Uh, the Rock, I've always enjoyed his sense of humor, his sense of comedic timing, but there seemed to be a part of me that just wasn't as intrigued by it this time because Black Adam is a killer. He out and out slays his opponent. He doesn't give them a chance. He drops them, throws them, fries them, or whatever, and it takes away from the likability of the character. Oh, sure, he's cool and badass, but he's not very likable as an individual for a lot of the film. Uh, they play with the origin story a little bit. They set up the origin at the beginning, but then halfway through the film, they change it. Oh, well, what history heard wasn't really the same. Well, it really wasn't the thing. And then they, of course, try to give him a little more uh, sympathetic notes, which worked a little bit, but still, I was like, he's still going around killing people. It's just not easy to take. Uh, the CGI was okay. Some of it was really good, but I think the editing does not do it any favors. It's too frenetic, too uh, too many quick shots. You kind of lose the majesty of any kind of CGI. So anything that looks good, you really don't have time to really see it. It just goes away so fast. So I think that did the film a disservice. Although, like I said, some of the CGI is beautiful. I like Cyclone's uh, tornadic ability. I thought that was nicely done. Um, Hawkman's wings and his weaponry, the nth metal stuff, that was awesome. Um, but this just too many quick cuts just took me out of the film. The music was abrasive, um, somewhat, uh, so it didn't really aid in the viewing pleasure. And the big one of the big things is DC. Does the sun even shine in your universe? Oh my goodness, it's always dark. Still, DC must stand for dark cinema because it's always that overcast dusk or dawn, the sun's not quite up yet kind of feel, or it's foggy or dusty. It just there's no joy in the viewing of any of these films, and it just takes away from the viewing pleasure, and it makes everything look plastic and fake, which does nothing to service the believability in this universe. It just they DC has got to do something about their lighting and their uh, how just their filters, because it's terrible. Um, and then the ultimate insult was Henry Cavill coming in the mid credit scene as Superman when any rational thinking writer would have used Zachary Levi's Shazam. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of Zachary Levi's Shazam, but that's what they should have used. Henry Cavill, I'm sorry, I've been over it for years. It's time to move on to something else. Someone else create a new Superman or let it rest for a while. Just do other things, and that's fine. Just let it go. But yeah, I just think it would have been more sensible to bring in the I'm going to say it, the original Captain Marvel, Shazam, to interact with Black Adam. But no, we got to force Cavill down our throats again. So I thought about it. What's my rating of Black Adam? Like I said, not terrible. It's not 0. It's not a 1. Best I could do really is a 2. Thought about 2.5, but I just couldn't do it because to me, a 2.5 is just on the cusp of a recommend. I just really can't recommend this film. Uh, just too much wrong with it. I will say, though, if you really want to watch this film, go for it. You may love it. I don't know. I found it lacking. I wanted to like it. Just too many things kept knocking it. And then, of course, Cavill did it in even further. But there was enough to make, it's enough to make a 2-star film. It's not, like I said, it's not a bad film. It just has a lot of elements that could have been done a lot better. So 2 stars, up to you if you want to go see it or not. I can't give it a recommendation, but like I said, just like with any movie or any show, it's up to you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Big Al Presents, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this video, and I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it around. Put the word out, or at least maybe you are annoying your friends. Send them my video. That's that. Yeah, if it annoys them, that's awesome. Cool. I'll take it. But that being said, though, whatever you do plan to watch, be it Black Adam or something else, I do hope you like it. I really do. That's the whole point of watching something. Don't hate watch. It's pointless. If you're going to watch something, please have every intention of hoping you love it because that's what I do. Take care, everyone. Until next time, goodbye.